Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we are going to be diving down into the charts to review what has been going on with the crypto market. As we get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with all the videos that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all of that nonsense out of the way, let's jump on down into the desktop and take a look at what has been going on most recently in the crypto space. Okay guys, we're going to start things off with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the foundation, it's the market leader. So we're going to review what's going on here before jumping down into a couple of altcoins to kind of review the kind of patterns that have been going on and whether or not we're actually looking for a bit of a push to the downside before any form of continuation upwards. So here for Bitcoin, we can see that we actually had an impulsive move to the upside. We actually have this interesting kind of pullback right here, right? So I've actually labeled this up as a third wave, this being a fourth wave coming down lower. And the reason for this is that we actually can count this a couple of different ways, but if this here was wave 3, then this area of this particular pullback from the top of this candle to the bottom of this candle, we had a 1.618 target of about $41,170, right? So for Bitcoin here, we actually fell short of this, right? So then I got into thinking, okay, well, let's count up the amount of waves we actually have inside here and to see if this is actually the third wave and what we are witnessing over this side is in fact just our fourth wave correction. So lots of different ways we can kind of look at it. Either way, I can see a push up to $41,000, right? It's either going to be inside here, and this recent pullback that we had was impulsive but was invalidated with an ABC up. So inside of this third wave, we can articulate that we have 1, 2, an extended 3, a 4, and maybe that's a fifth wave, but again, it doesn't meet the minimum requirements. So there's other ways that we can count this. We could, of course, just remove the 5 waves altogether and actually just call this, an A, B, and an overextended C wave. But then we come back down, and there's not a definitive wave count down here, but there is a pretty good wave count coming up, right? So again, I'm not 100% aligned to thinking that that is what is going on. So what I do want to kind of just show you is, let's leave this on here for now. It might play out, it might not, and we'll come back and revisit it. We have our ABC this side. Okay, we have our ABC down, so all of that is tracking fine. And then we have our A, B, and C upwards. Okay, so all of those micro movements right inside there, and they basically just equate to a bigger ABC move. So we can save ourselves a bit of time here just by drawing it out as an ABC. And there's nothing special about that. It is a 1-to-1 ratio, and you can see it on this chart here. So as we come back down, we can see that there's another ABC down. Okay, so we have that A, B, and C to the downside, and then we had this real big surge upwards. Okay, and there wasn't a definitive count inside it. This led me to believe that we were looking for downward side action, and ultimately, if we remove that ABC, what we end up with on that count is this as a one giant A wave, this being a B wave, and then we come down into this range here, this basically being our C wave. And when we measure the distance on our A wave, and we move this over to the B wave, what do we end up with? We end up with pretty much just a little bit overextended on the 1-to-1 ratio with the A and the C waves, but ultimately we didn't hit anything impulsive going down on the bigger scale. So that one actually lines up quite nicely. Now, I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit. I know the numbers can be a little bit harder to see depending on the kind of size screen that you're looking at. But we do have an ABC. As I said, we hit the 1.382 of this move here. So again, if I remove this bit and I show you what that looks like, we had this move coming down, draw it the right way around. So you get the extensions. We'd move this over. We end up with this coming down all the way to 1.618, okay, $37,000 I think it was, or something to that effect, and obviously 37,350. We then pull down and we go down a little bit lower, and we complete that move. This here in itself could be marked up as 5 waves down, and that is basically a C wave. Now it's invalidated because this would have been a fourth wave higher, but we actually crossed wave 1 here. So this is just an ABC correction, and then we're led with an ABC correction to the upside, right? And that was completed just here. Now we are actually tracking a relatively flat correction right now, but we have got a high stochastic RSI. So we are looking at actually a slightly deeper correction to occur. So it's not an impulsive move down, it's all very choppy, it's all very corrective, and it's corrective all the way up here from wave 3. Okay, so for Bitcoin, I am expecting a pullback down, right? So we have a downward trend, well, not a trend, but we have a downward correction coming, right? And I can see this as, A, B, potentially an overextended C wave. This is probably probably the most likely thing to happen. And then from here, we have a 4 and a 5 waves. They will be small. I don't anticipate us dropping down too much. And again, we actually take a look at these levels here, right? They've highlighted this yellow box for a reason. If I actually just drag it this way, you can see how we revisited that last night, and we've moved up above it. I expect ourselves actually to be coming into this range a little bit more. I'm not expecting us to go too far. We've already kind of taken out the 618 retracement, and this retracement is of this entire move. Okay, so if we think this was an entire move up, then that's kind of what we're kind of addressing here, and that basically being a 618. Now we can come down to the 702 or the 786. So the 786 I think is pretty much the extreme end of what I would expect. That would basically take us down to about 35,890. But I do think actually if we are going to see this ABC come down, we actually have a good chance of finding the 618 as a support level again, or the 702 about 36,500. And Binance does love those round numbers. So for Bitcoin, I am seeing a downward move likely to happen before we move up towards that $41,000 range. And again, that's kind of completing these waves. Now, I could be wrong about the 5th wave. I'm open to the idea that that is not necessarily something that we might see. And, invalidation of that would come in just down here, and it would be basically $35,885. If we go down lower than that, there is no 5th wave and it's invalidated, and basically I would have to redraw this impulsive move up to actually take into consideration the high point that we had up here. But for the most part, we're actually tracking reasonably well. Now, as I come up into the larger time frame, so you can see the 4 hourly has actually got pretty good traction. It could continue to go up. That actually supports the $41,000 move. The 8 hourly needs a correction, so we're hoping to see that correction come down a little bit over the next few hours. And the daily's in a really good spot. It's got plenty of room to grow. So has the weekly, and of course, so has the monthly. So for the stochastic RSI, the momentum behind the price, a lot of these are showing and indicating to us that we should be looking at progression to the upside rather than downside, at least on the larger time frames. The smaller time frame, however, we should be thinking about some kind of correction that has to happen here, and to see us come back down maybe towards 37,000, worst case $35,000. Okay, so that gives us an idea of what the foundation is, what we are expecting to happen here on the smaller time frames for Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin's leading the pack, let's go ahead and now check what's going on with some of the altcoins. Okay, so we obviously have completed our ABC flat correction here for Cardano. So this came in yesterday. So again, looking pretty good for ADA here. Now we are tracking quite nicely to the upside, and we can just drill into this. But we are to expect some volatility, right? Because Bitcoin's had its ABC up, has Cardano, and Cardano seems to have also hit that on the nail as well. So I'm going to move the C wave to where it landed, which was over here, and then just remove this Fibonacci retracement tools, just to make us a little bit neater, right? So let me just bring that into view so you guys can see. We had the C wave high here. It wasn't an impulsive move. We did have an Elliott wave triangle in the middle. We broke to the upside. This was about 92 cents. And then we had the ABC down. We've had a small ABC up, but again, because it wasn't a definitive ABC up like we had this side, it was quite clear to see that this was going to be a B wave, and then we dropped down lower. Now, when we took the measurements, that was the most probable area that we were going to retrace down to, 83.2 cents. Now, here we can see that we have got an interesting ABC move. We have an A wave here, we have a B wave come down, and we have that C wave. Now, if I take the measurement of this A wave, it doesn't look like we've actually met the minimum, the most probable outcome. And we've actually come across the 786, that was our resistance block, and whereas the C wave should actually go up to 91.1. Okay, so it's possible that we actually push that up a little bit there, but considering the 786 was such a barrier for us, I would expect that we are going to find some form of resistance here. And sometimes these C waves, they do fall short, where we actually would like them to kind of go. Let me actually grab hold of the correct thing there. So it's possible that we just have a shorter C wave, but as you can see, this particular candle, it is moving up. So we just go into the 702 right now, the 786 possibly. So depending on what Bitcoin does in the next kind of couple of hours, we might hit that 91.1. But after that, I would expect us to have an ABC correction to the downside alongside what is going on with Bitcoin. The main differences between Cardano and Bitcoin is we didn't have an impulsive move up. We did have the triangle, whereas Bitcoin didn't. And we have had pretty standard correction here, not as choppy as what Bitcoin has been. Okay, so we are looking here at potentially a shorter C wave. Maybe we'll hit the 91.1. Otherwise, we'll just end up with the ABC, whether that comes in from that high point that we've already had or not. And again, we don't know how big of an ABC correction this is going to be until that A wave forms. But we are getting close to a top as far as I'm concerned there. Now I'm going to check over Harmony 1. So Harmony 1, we did a bit of analysis yesterday for our members over in Discord and in the Patreon side of things. Now, we were talking about 14.3, that being an area that we were looking for and targeting with our C wave, right? A wave down, B wave up, C wave coming down. And we actually have just about hit the 1.382. However, I'm not sure I'm going to call it impulsive down just yet. We could, of course, probably still count it as an impulsive move. But the reasoning is literally we touched it. We didn't cross it. We've just touched it. So if we actually review this low, it is 13.757. And this here is 13.761. So technically, yeah, it's very, very close though. That was an interesting area of support. So we're going to watch that. It's possible that it does go impulsive at that particular point. And I am going to do is also just mark this one up. I'm just going to check to see if that actually is exactly where it is. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, cool. So this one here at 14.6, we want to cross that line. If we cross the line of 14.6, that would eventually, would basically invalidate the lower waves. Okay, so what we're talking about here, for those who are not maybe as familiar with these wave counts, basically this is constituted as wave 1, this being wave 2, this here being wave 3 with a double bottom effectively, or triple bottom in fact, right down here, and then this could be wave 4, and then we come down lower into a wave 5. Now, if we don't go any higher than where we are right now, this actually gives us a target for this fifth wave of 13.6 cent for Harmony 1, okay? And at that point, you would expect a reversal, which would be at least a minimum of an ABC up, okay? And again, we wouldn't know where that goes until the first waves appear. Now, if we go higher than 14.6, it means that this low point is invalidated and we are not going to see it. And in fact, what you're actually tracking is an ABC up. And there's a lot of potential here for that, but there is a couple of concerns, right? Just like at the bottom here, we had this bullish triple tap at the bottom. We've actually got effectively a triple tap at the top here as well, being bearish, right? So we've got a couple of scenarios. Now, when we start thinking of this as the bottom, this was A, this was B, this was C, we are potentially now looking at, more downside. Now, this would actually be a relatively double, it would be basically a double flat correction. And I'll show you what that looks like. So our low point would effectively have been down here. So we have A, we have B, and we have C, and then this is followed by another flat correction, A, B, and potentially C. Okay, so we wouldn't necessarily know what would happen afterwards, but that would indicate to me that we either go to 14 cent flat, and then reverse back up, or we go impulsive down, and this is the wave 1, wave 2, with a wave 3, 4, and 5, and that would actually be quite a neat way of actually ushering in this final leg of this fifth wave. And what I mean by that is we have wave 1 here, wave 2, we might come down a little bit for wave 3, bounce for wave 4, and then complete with wave 5, right? Because there'll be 5 waves inside that fifth wave, in the same way that you have 5 waves right inside here for our third wave, and there's only actually 3 waves inside wave 1. That's quite a common thing for crypto, I've noticed, specifically on the hourly chart here. So for the most part, yeah, we're looking at some kind of flat correction if we want to stay bullish, but it's looking like, based on the stochastic RSI, that we have a higher probability of downward turn along with Bitcoin and the rest of the market as we start to top out here with this corrective move. So Harmony One, it is kind of doing exactly what you would expect it to do at this particular point in time. Now I am going to jump into Anchor. This is one that I don't get to talk about too much, but I do like the chart. It actually had a pretty good retracement level all the way down here, about 5.1 cent, and it's a little bit overextended on this fifth wave, but it is actually, that's probably the fifth wave, and then we end up with this move here taking us down lower. But yeah, pretty interesting kind of move going on here with this one. Let me just delete that fib and analyze this a little bit more closely. So we basically had our 5 waves come down here on Anchor. We then had what looks like a pretty standard ABC to the upside. So we have an A, B, and C move. Then this one is really harsh, right? This pullback right here. Now, we have a couple of options with this, and I think the best way to actually articulate it is that this is our 5th wave, this is our 4th wave, and this is the bottom of wave 3. And if we take that into consideration, then we would have, yeah, 5 waves inside here as well. So we'd have 1, 2, we would come down. You here? Yeah, it would be here for 3, 4, and then that final 5th wave down. And that is still valid because we haven't crossed the bottom of wave 1. And in here you'd have a little bit of overlap there, but I think you actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So that kind of tracks quite nicely. And that would actually then be a turning point. And here we can see we have another ABC move. And again, this is on the larger scale, so I'm not going to count all the little kind of waves in between, but there's pretty standard ABC. You'd probably be really clear on the 4-hourly chart here for Anchor on that one. And then again here you have the same scenario as what we had with Bitcoin, right? So actually this is more in line with Cardano, if I'm being brutally honest. So here you have the triangular wedge, or the ABCDE, and then the break up to the upside. So for those who do not know, the triangles, they are basically just continuation patterns, and they're continuation of the trend that went in. The trend was up, the continuation pattern is in the middle, so we continue the trend that led into it, right? So it's an upward trend. So we can actually, draw on there if you want. We basically have an A, B, C, D, E, and a break to the upside in the same way that Cardano did. That then led us into the final C wave. Here you track an ABC down, then this definitive move up, kind of one wave. That effectively just means that we can shortcut this, and we can basically say that this is wave A, this is wave B. This is where we were doing a stream with our Discord members, well, in Discord with anyone, and we were saying, we wouldn't be buying because we anticipated this move coming down. Now, this actually looks relatively short, and I would say that we have a little bit more room to the downside to come here, so we'll just quickly check this. And again, this will be in line with the market. Oh no, we hit the 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, cool. So we actually hit the 1-to-1 ratio there. That's perfect. And then we track up here. We have the ABC. So we have an A wave up, a B wave down, and this actually is an overextension maybe. Let me just check to see if we actually ticked an impulsive move to the upside. That would be about here. Yeah, we have. So that's an interesting play. I imagine it will get invalidated, but let's just do this anyway. I'll do is I'm going to remove that fib and get that one out of the way so we have this a little bit clearer. So basically we have an A wave here, a B wave down, and this C wave actually goes past the 1.382, right? And when you go past the 1.382, there's a high probability. I'm going to move it over here. There's a high probability. It's not a guarantee, but there's a high probability that it turns into an impulsive move. And what we mean by that is it will actually turn into, a wave 1, a wave 2, this being a wave 3, this being a wave 4. Actually, no, it's not. It's got overlap there. So I would actually expect that to be complete. Yeah, that's my bad. I didn't even follow my own rules. So that's actually just an ABC. Okay, then we have the overlap. That's invalidation of the impulsive move, even though we went to 1.382. This pullback invalidates anything further. This now tracks as an ABC down. And then from here, you end up with A, B, and C. So if I remove that fib and draw in a new Fibonacci retracement tool here, we transpose this to the top of wave B. I'm going to just move the wave B out of the way to make sure I get this accurately as I can. and then I'm going to put that right back on there. This then shows us moving down to about 6.3 cent for anchor here, potentially going down lower depending on the rest of the market and how that kind of performs. So as you can see, there's a bit of a common theme right across these altcoins, and I've done no prep. I've just chosen random coins from the list here to kind of go through what is going on with the altcoin market. It's in line with Bitcoin. Now there are going to be the odd exception that is not following what Bitcoin is doing, but that's exactly what they are. They are exceptions to the rule. They are not the rule in themselves. There is no decoupling going on here with Bitcoin and the altcoins. And as Bitcoin looks for its next corrective move to the downside, and I think it's going to be short term, it's not going to be long term. Like I said, the large time frames are actually indicating that we are looking for good growth to the upside. So ultimately, we're just looking at short-term volatility on the hourly chart here that is indicating a downsided move for Bitcoin. And therefore, as a result, the three altcoins that I've just chosen out today are also looking very, very similar. We are looking to have some kind of ABC correction go down. And now this could be a fantastic opportunity to dollar cost average if that is your thing. Obviously, we have a slightly larger trend that is indicating a higher move for Bitcoin to the upside, but there is nothing set in stone and nothing is guaranteed with the market volatility that we are seeing right now, and pretty much driven from real world and obviously a lot of fear in terms of what is going on as well. So we are obviously analyzing all of these micro movements. We know where things are likely to have, downside or upside, and we can obviously trade that accordingly if that is your bag. Obviously, for retail investors, it's much easier and kind of safer, specifically for newbies, to kind of just be hodling. And what we're looking here for is dollar cost averaging positions, because the market has fallen quite significantly. I don't think it's a bear market, but it is bearish. And as a result of that, what we are actually looking at is a fantastic opportunity to build positions at 70, maybe even some of these coins, 80% discount from where they were not too long ago. And this is a fantastic opportunity to just concrete these positions in ahead of what I do anticipate to happen next, which is a surge to new all-time highs. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully you have found this useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.